This video is brought to you by my new book, The Boy Without Magic, available in both ebook and paperback. Links in the description. Back in 2013, Fulbright Company released their flagship title, Gone Home, an interactive experience or walking simulator that would go on to critical acclaim and praise for its unique experience and storytelling. This game was on my radar for some time when it came out, but for one reason or another, I was never able to give it a go. Then, I read about the story. I lost all interest afterward and went on to other games. But now, thanks to the Epic Store giving it away, I decided to at long last give it a chance and see if it's as great as the critics said it was. Then I played it. The critics were really wrong on this one. Gone Home sees the player in the shoes of Caitlin Greenbrier, a uni student returning home from a gap year to discover her parents' house abandoned, ransacked, and a note left by her sister Sam. Now you have to explore the house and piece together what happened and where your family has gone. Right off the bat, this is a great setup for a story and has a number of plot threads that would have made for great ones all on their own, including things like a strained marriage, a failed author, a sister with a secret, and an urban legend about the house that may be more fact than fiction. These plot threads, though, unfortunately never come together into a satisfying narrative. The story arbitrarily leans more into two specific themes over its other strengths without trying to blend any of them together. I have to issue a spoiler warning here because I can't critique the story further without going into specific details, so if you don't want that, skip over to this time code.
Captain Allegra looked off at the ocean. It went on forever.
The game is more interested in exploring themes like coming of age and discovering your sexuality through Sam than any other aspect of its story. Now, this isn't a bad thing in of itself, but it never really meshes with the other plot threads in any meaningful way, which never get any real love or attention and are just hand-waved away at the ending. Turns out the parents' marriage is on the rocks, so they went to a retreat to save it, as well as to celebrate the dad's book getting published. Sam and her girlfriend Lonnie exorcised the ghost haunting the house, and Sam stole a bunch of stuff before running off to elope with her, who's gone AWOL from basic military training. It feels like the devs spent so much time on Sam's coming-of-age romance while working on the story that by the time they realized they needed to flesh out the rest of it, it was too late. Or that they thought that what they made was so enthralling that people would love it and ship the game as is. So what we get is a story that's uninterested in itself and obsessed with just one specific thing above all else. However, a genuine strength the game has is its environment. The house the game takes place in has aged really well over the years despite not being the best of its time. It feels lived in, like real people have been living here, and the devs use that to organically pepper lore throughout the rooms. It also helps that its layout is grounded firmly in reality, with a layout and rooms that all serve a believable purpose. A lot like the mansion from Remothered, but the devs even managed to throw in some Spencer Mansion DNA, with hidden passageways connecting floors, giving the house a lot of character, something that's reinforced by atmosphere so thick you can cut it with a knife, and some stellar sound design, the two of which combined create a chilling sense of dread that puts you in the right mindset for the game to potentially scare you, which unfortunately never happens. The game only ever goes out of its way to scare the player from my experience once, and it's in a sequence that's more of a jolt than an outright scare. Never an oh crap kind of moment like in the Amnesia games. In fact, these aspects are completely wasted, since all you're doing is wandering around and listening to Sam's story about her love narrated at you as you find things. And it doesn't take long for hearing about how intimate it is to dye someone else's hair to suck out whatever fear or dread the boom of thunder or an old abandoned servant quarter could have elicited.
It's weirdly intimate. I don't know if I've touched someone else's scalp before. That's pretty intimate, right? It felt intimate.
The gameplay is pretty much typical stuff for this type of game. You explore the environment, examine objects, listen to the story, and progress to new areas. Simple and to the point. However, a common criticism leveled at these games is how usually the story has occurred before the player, character's arrival, so you're a latecomer having what happened told to you rather than participating, which can create a disconnect between the player and the game, making it feel uninteresting. Like RPGs, usually these games have an interesting story to fall back on to make up for gameplay deficiency. Gone Home, unfortunately, doesn't have this, so it doesn't take long for the game to just become a dull chore. There are some things that do alleviate this, like throwing objects around the environment or looking for the fleshed out lore, but I wouldn't say it's enough. Throwing junk in the sink in the downtime can only be fun for a few seconds. At least the game is short, so it never reaches an unbearable level of boredom.
No contact with the outside world while you're in basic. You just train hard every day, and then you deploy from there.
As bad as I find Gone Home, there is no denying the influence it had on interactive experiences, and personally, I find it to be the Final Fantasy VII of the genre, in that it was a watershed moment for interactive storytelling and a unique gaming experience for its time, but its story and gameplay have not aged well. In the years since its release, other titles have built on what it did and not only surpassed it in terms of gameplay, but also storytelling. If you're a fan of Gone Home and disagree with my statement, then I ask you this: when was the last time you played it and compared it to something similar? Because I bet if you replay it now after playing a contemporary like Infliction, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, or even Observer, I guarantee that you'll find that it's no longer the masterpiece you once thought it was.
That I can't be there to see you in person.
Then why'd you lock your confession?
That I can't tell you all this myself. But I hope as you read this journal and you think back, that you'll understand why I had to do what I did.
Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you really liked it, then feel free to hit the like and maybe also the subscribe button. Now don't worry, I'm still going to be reviewing XCOM Chimera Squad. This review was just a little side project I did after the game was being given away free on the Epic Game Store. And I've also got a first impressions of Fallout 76's Wastelanders expansion in the pipeline for the near future. As for movie reviews, I've actually got 2 digital films that have caught my eye, specifically Trolls World Tour and Corona Zombies. I might do reviews of them as well, but for now, it's just wait and see. Got all that more coming up, so please stick around.